are going to cook pork chops, and this is possibly the strangest, least complicated, most fascinating recipe I've ever done, and it involves just one ingredient, and that's pork chops. So I'm going to get this going and then I'll tell you the backstory. So what you're going to need is pork chops. I've got bone-in chops, which take longer to cook, but I've got bone-in chops because I like them and they look really pretty when they're cooked, and I suspect, knowing me, that there was a sale on bone-in pork chops, which is why we have bone-in ones. Either way, doesn't matter. So now what I need to cook my pork chops is a pan. And here I have my pan. Now, the magical thing about how to cook pork chops is something you've probably never heard before, or if you've read the recipe on my blog, you probably looked at it and went, that's never going to work, I am not going to do that. So I'm doing this video to show you that it really does work, and it really is the way to get the juiciest, tastiest pork chops you've ever had. So we're going to put the pan here, or we're not going to turn the heat on, and we've got our chops, they're straight out the fridge. We're going to pop them in our pan, and the one thing you may have noticed is that everything is cold, and that is the secret to how you make the juiciest pork chops, is to start with a stone cold pan. So the pan's cold, the chops are cold. I have even been known to put the pan in the freezer for a few minutes to get it really cold. Take your chops out, put them in, everything's cold, and that's how you start it off. So if you're one of those folks who grew up learning that you heat oil in the pan, and when it's hot then you put the chops in, and you've had a lifetime of dry pork chops, raise your hand. I know I had, until I discovered this. Don't preheat the pan. Cold pan, cold chops. And then we're gonna whack the heat on, and it's gonna be pretty high. It's gonna be medium high. Cold pan, cold chops, on the pan it goes. So that is how you cook a really juicy pork chop. So what we're going to do, you're going to let them cook there for about 3 minutes. You're not going to touch them. If you have to walk away, walk away. You're not going to poke them. You're just going to leave them there for 3 minutes. And in 3 minutes, we're going to come back and you're going to see what we're going to do next. So we're back. Our chops have been in the pan for 3 minutes, just kind of merrily doing their choppy thing. And now we're going to get a spatula and we're going to flip them over. You'll notice at this point there's no colour. And we're just going to leave them there for another 3 minutes. We're not going to touch them, we're not going to poke them, we're not going to do anything to them. We're just going to let them do their choppy thing for another 3 minutes, and then we'll be back. Hey, we are back. Our chops have now been on the other side for 3 minutes. So I am going to flip them back over. You see there's a little bit of colour starting on that side. So now I will link to the recipe below so you can see the written instructions. You'll notice in the instructions of this, the when I say turn them, I say sear with a spatula, and a lot of people don't know what that means, and why should you if you're not a chef? So sear simply means to press down. So take your spatula and just press firmly down. You'll hear it sizzle. So sear with a spatula, sear both ends. It's a big chop, just sear them. And that was actually, and then you're going to leave them for a minute, and then you're going to flip them over and sear. If you look at the instructions on the website, you'll see that it's just a series of cook, sear, leave, cook, turn, sear. So The searing is something I actually learned at McDonald's. And before you all gasp and switch over to the next video, when I was 16, McDonald's was my Saturday job. I would work at McDonald's on a Saturday from 10 till 6, and then I would also work there during the holidays, from school. And so that was partly how I saved up to go to university. So searing is something that, when the process of cooking the hamburgers at McDonald's was all manual, you would have this lump of metal with a handle on called a sear tool, and you would put the burger patties down on the grill and you would sear them, and then you would flip them and sear them. And the action of searing presses them, it increases the heat that you get, and it makes them cook a bit faster. So that's why it's searing. You can hear when I push down, they sizzle. So when you've done a minute again on that side, we're going to flip them over, and you'll see there's some colour coming there. If I can get my pork chops turned. So sear again. And then leave them. I don't know how you're doing with all this leaving. It takes a bit of getting used to if you're used to poking your food. So we're going to leave them for another minute, and we're basically just going to continue that process until they are completely golden brown, which will maybe be another couple of turns, so another couple of minutes, and that's it. So I will keep doing that. I will turn, I will sear, I will turn, I will sear every minute until they're golden brown, and then we'll come back and you can see the finished result. Hey everyone, so we are back with our pork chops. You can see nice bit of colour coming. Turn them over one last time. Give them a sear. Now when I take them off this last time, I'm going to pull that good. So the only thing you need to remember, okay, maybe there's two things you need to remember. Start with a cold pan. Cold chops, cold pan. Put them on the heat. Put them on the stove, then turn the heat on. Start with a stone cold pan. That's the key to this. And I know there may be some people who post in the comments that this isn't the way to cook pork chops and you have to blah, blah, blah. I have cooked pork chops every way you can imagine, and this way will give you by far the juiciest, tastiest pork chops you've ever had. I have done this hundreds and hundreds of times, and it works every single time. So there's that. And the only other thing you need to bear in mind is that the cooking time will vary depending on the thickness of your chops. So if you have thin chops, they will cook quicker, obviously. If you have very thick chops, they will take longer and more turns. If you have bone-in chops, they will take longer. If you have boneless chops, they will be shorter. So, one last flip here. And I'm going to put these beautiful chops on a plate. Don't forget to turn the pan off. And you will see, and the first time I did this, I was really skeptical. And because they looked kind of dry, but the reason they're dry in the pan, and you'll notice I didn't use any oil, I didn't use anything, I just put the chops in the pan, is that when you cut them open, that's when, these are bone in, so obviously they've got a bone there. Let me see. And there's a few people have done this and said that they don't cook and all of that. So here we go. you'll see that they're perfectly cooked all the way through. And I don't know if you can see the juices, but they are super juicy. You can see the juices coming out now. So they're cooked through, super juicy, beautiful, beautiful pork chops. Could not be simpler. But the key is start with a cold pan, cold chops, and then turn the heat on. The instructions, you can find the step-by-step instructions and the background to how I discovered this miracle by clicking the link below, which will take you to my website where you can find all that information. So I'm super excited for you to cook chops this way and realize that you can have juicy chops again if you've been not eating chops because they always turn out dry and tasteless. Then this is your moment. So enjoy your pork chops. I'll see you next time.